You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Spring will be here soon, so if buying a new home is on your to-do list, right now is the time to call Quicken Loans. Learn about which mortgage options make sense for you and get a jump on your competition. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hi, welcome to the Subway ad for the new Sesame Ginger Glazed Chicken Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take a...
Sports announcer at home?
Yeah, how'd you...
We just know.
My wife picks up the new Signature Wrap. It's got double the rotisserie-style chicken mixed with a sesame ginger glaze. She appears annoyed at me, but she shrugs it off. Those sweet and savory flavors are calling her name. She lifts the wrap and she takes the bite! Incredible! And now she's closing the door on my... Subway, make it what you want.
Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat basement, average 6-inch sub.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Thoughts of suicide may feel impossible to overcome, but with help and support, you can find hope and meaning. Call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK to speak to a counselor, or visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. It's free, it's confidential, it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And even if it feels like it, you're not alone.
Welcome to the Red Whine Show. Tonight on the show is myself, Jody, and Lou.
Hi. Good evening.
Good evening is right. Lou and I are today filling in for Diane. So thank you, Lou, for filling in for Diane. And
anytime. Yeah, anytime. I can't do the Boston accent though. Like I can do some accents. I kind of picked up some Jersey when I was married to a Jersey boy, but Boston, nah. I can do Park the Car, and that's about it. So sorry about that.
Yeah, and Diane, Joaquin instead of Joaquin, Joe Quinn. So, we're teasing Diane since she's not here. So, lots of stuff in the news this last week.
Yeah, I am already sick to death of impeachment. We've got some kind of different impeachment stories to talk about. I'm sure everybody's heard about them. And as we were coming into, like when we were talking right before the show, you were reading tweets to me off Twitter. Evidently, everyone on Twitter is abuzz about one of our topics tonight.
Right. Rand Paul is tweeting. Benny Johnson is tweeting. It's amazing to me if the roles are reversed and the Republicans were going after Obama or Clinton as aggressively and as biased as the left is going after Trump. Can you even imagine? I mean, oh my God, it would be such a different story in the press. Yeah,
absolutely. They at least tried to make it look good, and I really don't remember like the Nixon years, right? I mean, I was really young. Obviously, I was like in diapers. Anyway, right. Not really, but no, obviously. But I mean, I didn't have an understanding of it. But looking back at it, reading if you've never read James Rosen's book, The Strong Man, read it because you'll understand how that wasn't necessarily how it was presented. Even some of the things that were bipartisan about. So not everything was as it seemed with that either. And right. They're of course they're using that and invoking it like it was the impeachments to end all impeachments. And right, Johnson was always presented to us that way as well. And Jonathan Turley, bless his heart, really said some things today about the Johnson impeachment that I wasn't really aware of. So, he's obvious. I mean, he was Clinton's lawyer during the Clinton impeachment, I believe, if I'm not mistaken about that. And so he's pretty much an expert on the topic, much more than John Dean is. So anyway, but it's this story is absolutely dominating the news, and I'm sick to death of it already.
Oh my gosh, CNN just tweeted a couple hours ago. During Wednesday's impeachment hearing, the GOP rep Matt Gaetz attempted to paint Stanford law professor Pamela Karlan as a liberal elite biased against conservatives.
Well, she is. She clearly is. She had that, I mean, I really don't care what order we take these topics in. We can go ahead and talk about it, because I don't know how much time I'm going to want to spend on her nasty little comment about Barron Trump.
Oh, yeah.
That joke, she's been telling that joke, I swear, since Donald Trump declared he was going to run for president, or certainly since he won the nomination, if not that, since he beat Hillary Clinton. She's been telling that joke, and who set it up for her? Cynthia McKinney? No, I can't remember the congresswoman that set it up for.
I didn't watch.
It wasn't Maxine Waters. It was the other one, but that they look kind of alike, and so the only name that's coming to mind right now is Maxine Waters, but it wasn't her. But so she set it up for her. She set that joke up for her.
Right.
That was, I mean, it was vaudeville-like. It was almost as smooth as George and Gracie.
Well, it makes me wonder if you went into this law professor's background. Well, we know we know she's politically on the left. We know she's given to the left campaigns. But it does make me wonder if some of those people on that knew her personally. Like they've talked to her before, and they kind of, I don't know. It's very rehearsed.
Well, if you look at what she's done, and her donations alone, her connections to the DNC, the her stature, her position at Stanford, her speaking engagement. She's absolutely met some of them before. I have no doubt that they knew all three of them, that they've spoken to them. One of them, but I don't think any of them. I certainly have never heard any of them actually practicing or having any case in the records at all, right? Like maybe when they were much younger, they litigated something back in their history. You know, maybe they've written a brief for this, that, or the other thing.
Right.
But they don't actually practice law, none of them. Jonathan Turley actually practices. Yes, he's a professor. He's been an academic. He's been a legal researcher, and he's a legal mind, but he's also practiced a lot, litigated a lot. So that joke was totally set up. It was a horrible thing to say. It was a horrible thing to do, to bring up that young man's name in the middle of his father's impeachment hearing. Wherever he is, he went, I just got mentioned in all his friends at school. He just got mentioned in a friggin' impeachment hearing. That's a horrible thing to do. Brian Stelter made a smart aleck comment about how many times it would be replayed on Fox News. Tater, you're a horrible person.
Yes. Melania Trump, even, I'm sure some of you have seen it. Some of you maybe have not had a chance. You know, you forget how few people actually are on Twitter in the world.
Right.
But Melania Trump tweeted, "A minor child deserves privacy and should be kept out of politics. Pamela Karlan, you should be ashamed of your very angry and obviously biased public pandering and using a child to do it." I'll bet you when she heard that, she flipped her lid.
Because she doesn't say shit about shit, right? She doesn't get involved in anything. She came right out of the gate like Mama Bear. It was actually pretty awesome. You remember on Sesame Street where they used to do and my favorite one was when they did the cookies and Cookie Monster did it. When they would do one of these things is not like the other, and they would have four things, and three of them would be the same things, and then one of them was different. That was Jonathan Turley today. He was the one thing that was not like the others, and the difference was that the other three were so angry, and Turley was just like, meh. You know, he was just they're all really mad. Everybody's really mad. Everybody, even my golden doodle is mad, and golden doodles don't get mad. And right there, that was like, okay, one of these things is not like the other. Turley is going to be totally different than these other guys, which we knew already, but...
Right. But he's absolutely correct. And
he is correct.
That Nadler, however different people pronounce it different ways, but didn't he say a year ago, November of 2018, that impeachment, that they were going to, that was his priority? And
he campaigned. So during his the election campaign, immediately after being reelected, he started to campaign for this chairmanship based on he was the right one. He wanted to be chairman of this committee.
Right.
And he campaigned for that committee chairmanship based on impeachment.
Right. So the anger, he's right. These people, those three representatives, the law professors that voted for Clinton and were devastated that Trump got in and think it's a farce that Trump is president, they are angry. They've been angry since 2016. And every Democrat on that committee is angry. And they've been angry since 2016. So I think that was a very, I think everybody's angry is completely correct.
Yeah, he's a brilliant man. He was right a lot of the time during the Clinton impeachment, which it pains me to say. But he's right in this one too, right? But that's the way that people should look at impeachment. They should be able to. They should be able to say, okay, that what happened with Clinton probably shouldn't have happened. It was a waste of time. It was, it was all of these things. And even Newt Gingrich doesn't really defend it so much anymore, right? Like, he got caught up in it, sure, but he doesn't really defend it anymore.
I think nowadays, because of the Me Too movement, Clinton probably wouldn't have had any support on the left.
Oh, they'd really be caught with their drawers down on that one, I think. But
oh my God, yeah. Oh my God.
But they can't.
Made me so angry. Why did they keep bringing up Russia today? I don't get it. Didn't we have the Mueller report that came out and said?
So, this is my theory on impeachment in general and why they're doing this. Collins keeps saying a clock and a calendar. We're against a clock and a calendar. It's a smokescreen, and it's about covering their butts. What they did in 2016, because so many of these people were caught up in that scheme to keep whatever Republican. They wouldn't have cared who it was. They probably had a plan for just about anybody. Right?
Oh, yeah, right. Oh,
but
God, yeah.
It ended up being Trump.
McCain. They hated McCain,
Right.
They love him.
Right. Well, there's a story out there. I don't know I'm not really sure if it's true, but there are stories out there about information and that they were putting together on other people as well. So, but it was about getting Hillary in office and keeping all of the things that have been being done, not just with the Obama administration, not just with the Clinton administration, but with the Republican administration.
Oh, yeah.
Between those two.
I have no doubt when this is all said and done, we're going to find some Republican senators or congressmen that have their fingers dirty too.
Well, it's the State it's the State Department and the FBI and the CIA, the intelligence community, as it has been since 9/11, consolidated intelligence community. Prior to that, probably primarily the FBI, CIA, and the State Department. So, this is just my opinion. This is me reading between the lines, but they are more focused on CYA than anything else.
I would agree.
Yeah, that's totally what it's about. So that was the Barron and the craziness on the but Turley was a bright spot in the whole thing. He's the only one without bias. He didn't vote for Trump. He never supported Trump. He doesn't agree with Trump. He's friends with Bill Barr, and he doesn't agree with him on most things.
Right.
But he was the Republicans' one witness out of 4 today.
Yeah. I that it's just crazy, and honestly, I think anybody, even if you were an independent, or even if you didn't even vote, even if you don't really follow politics that much, when you find out that these three have all given to Democrats, they're all very liberal. They all hate Trump. Yeah, this seems a little like, we're supposed to have fair and balance, especially when it comes to, court. This is like a court hearing. I think most people look at that today and just went, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. Well, let's do for the last 10 minutes before the break. Let's do the lie from the witness. that was so, that Mike Cernovich is the one that I saw that caught it. So, and we'll do this and we'll go to a break. And when we come back, we'll talk about the subpoenaed phone records, which is a really great story. It's going to take a little bit longer, though. So, when the witness, one of the law professors, hold on, I've got his name right here, Mr. Feldman, Noah Feldman.
Yes.
He is often interviewed by journalist guy, right? So he was asked by Matt Gaetz if he had if he was previously in favor of impeachment prior to the phone call with the Ukrainian president.
Right.
And he claimed to Matt Gaetz that he was not, that he had been previously opposed or not in favor of it. That the phone call with the Ukrainian president changed everything for him, completely changed his outlook on the whole thing, but he felt like that phone call was such an abuse of power that was impeachable, even though he hadn't felt like previously the president had done anything impeachable. However, in 2017, Mr. Feldman did an interview with Vice News, with Vice News, the online,
Vice,
the online publication, Vice.com, and he was asked, did the president commit a crime when he had the conversation with Comey? To which Mr. Feldman answered, what the president did is an outrage. It's impeachable. As obstruction of justice. It wasn't criminal obstruction of justice, but nonetheless was impeachable. So he pretty much lied to Congress under oath. I'm assuming they were under oath. I believe they were sworn in. They weren't fact witnesses, so they may not have been.
It'd be interesting to know, though. That would be an interesting point to find out what happens here. Because it's getting a lot of play because, different people are pointing out that he lied today. So it's interesting.
Well, I think it's hard to get someone on perjury when all they're giving is their opinion.
Right.
Opinions change. Now, he was being asked about a fact. So, I'm not a lawyer. I'd be interested to know if there's any lawyer in the world that would be interested in trying to argue that. But But I don't know.
Bad. The optics are bad.
Well, see, that's it right there, because it shows that what is it that they called Comey and McCabe and less than forthright, a lack of candor. I mean, it shows bias. It shows a willingness to just not be forthcoming with the truth.
Oh, right, but they're the resistance, right? It's the resist.
It all caught by,
this man.
Yeah, it all costs, and so what other people call Trump derangement syndrome, I call Trump fear syndrome. For the same reason I was talking about before. They fear he will uncover some shady shit they've done.
I agree.
I need Orty's disclaimer, right? Because I keep dropping the S. At least I hadn't dropped an F-bomb yet.
That was me. That was all me.
But yeah, I mean, it really, I really think that they fear that he's going to uncover something really shady that they've done, because, and I think that it could be anything, right? So if you're operating in a really shady way, and you're getting paid to make this deal happen or that deal happen, or, you know, any deal happen, or this, you know, when you think of all the stories that we've heard, rumors, conspiracy theories, everything, some of it is probably true. So it could be anything. I'm not saying that it's one thing or another. It could be anything. But new sheriff rolls into town and says he's going to clean things up.
Right.
They start digging. You don't know what they're going to find that you've done, but you know what you've done.
Right.
And you know what's there for them to find. They just don't want him there digging around. That's my theory.
Well, what's interesting today, Nadler he fell asleep. Like, they have him on cameras nodding off, you know.
Nadler?
He thought it was ridiculous.
Who?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Lord.
Today, in fact, it says sleepy Jerry Nadler got caught dozing off as he chaired the House Democrats.
Well, guess what, Jerry? The rest of us are bored with it too, because it's stupid. Because it's just dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, well,
it's absolutely dumb.
Yeah, there was a judge in my hometown that, like, never tried a case never heard a case that he didn't fall asleep in the middle of. Over and over and over again. He was notorious for it. So, all right, well, we're going to cut to a break.
So now the parody. Can I just tell you quick, the parody account of Jerry Nadler? He said, it's break time. Can someone bring me another quarter pounder with cheese? I mean, like, they're just totally not making fun of him. So
that's funny. I want the penguin memes of Nadler to start coming out, but I guess I'm gonna have to start making them for that to happen. All right, so during break, we're gonna give you and shout out to LL for getting me started on this. We're gonna give you a Christmas song. And don't worry, it's not Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's actually a really good one. Instead of a commercial, because, you know, it's Christmas. So enjoy. I'll be right back.
I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I gotta go away.
Baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has been
hoping that you dropped in.
Very nice.
I'll hold your hands, they're just like
my mother will start to worry.
Beautiful, what's your
My father
hurry?
will be pacing the floor.
Listen to that fireplace
So
roar.
really I'd better scurry.
Beautiful, please don't
But
hurry.
maybe just a soda pop
I'll
or
put some records on while I
the
pour.
neighbors might think,
baby, it's bad out there.
say, was that a wink?
No cabs to be had out there.
I wish I knew how
Your eyes are like starlight
to
now.
break this spell.
I'll take your hat, your hair looks
I
swell.
ought to get home for dinner.
Mind if I move
So it's time for
closer?
me to cast you aside.
Oh, what's the sense of hurting my pride?
I really can't say.
Baby, don't hold out.
Baby, it's cold outside. I simply must go.
Baby, it's cold outside.
So thanks for the show.
But baby, it's cold outside.
The welcome has been
How lucky that you
so
dropped in.
nice and warm.
Look out the window at that
My
storm.
sister will be
Gosh, your
suspicious.
lips look delicious.
My brother will be there at the door.
Waves upon a tropical
My
shore.
maiden aunt's mind is
Gosh,
vicious.
your lips are
Maybe
delicious.
just another dance
Never
floor.
such a blizzard before.
I gotta get home.
Baby, you freeze out there.
Say, lend me your comb.
It's up to your knees out there.
You've really been grand.
I I feel when I touch your
But
hand.
don't you see?
How can you do this thing to me?
There's bound to be a talk tomorrow.
Think of my lifelong
At least
sorrow.
there'll be plenty in
If
play.
you got pneumonia and
I
die,
really can't stay.
get over that old love.
Baby, it's cold. Baby, it's cold outside.
All right, we're back. That was fun, wasn't it? I love that song.
It is a great song.
Yeah, it's a great song. And that's the Michael Bublé version. And that video is so cute. It's like two little kids. It's like so adorable. If you haven't seen it, Google it. It's great. So, if you're sappy, Christmassy like we are anyway, you might like it. So, before we get into this topic, I'm going to play a clip from Tucker Carlson tonight with Devin Nunes. And this is like 4 minutes and 14 seconds. If you haven't seen it, though, and they talk a little bit about some other stuff, but, you know, this is a really great clip. And, I mean, listen to Nunes' voice in this, and just get a sense of how gobsmacked he sounds, because he does sound very, like, he can't really even articulate how he's feeling about it. So just listen to this.
Congressman Devin Nunes represents the state of California. He joins us tonight. Congressman, thanks so much for coming on. This is not your committee where the impeachment drama started. This is judiciary, but you were there today. What was this about? What did it accomplish? What was the point?
Well, I think you could just keep going for the rest of the show, just like you're doing. I mean, I'm enjoying watching this. I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that clip from the lady from 2006. I mean, this is totally nuts. I don't know what I'm watching. I mean, I walked in there today. I mean, and first of all, you have to ask yourself, what the hell are those people doing there?
Yeah.
They don't have any evidence. We're here to impeach the president. Well, evidence on the table for what the president did wrong. And then when they were asked direct questions, do any of you have evidence, any evidence that's in Adam Schiff's report to impeach the president on? They don't have any. So you have to ask yourself, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. I mean, I think they think it's appealing to voters or something. I think most voters, even most Democrats, despise the academic left. The academic left is disgusting, and everyone kind of feels that way.
Yeah. Yeah, and these, if you look at I don't know how anybody could even watch this today. And I'm not sure if anybody did watch this. I can't imagine what the ratings are going to be like, and, I guess we'll know in the next couple days. But can you imagine people sitting through that? I mean, that are at home watching? I just can't imagine.
So I have to ask you about something.
Anybody's watching.
I know you've talked about this, but the new chairman of your committee, House Intel Committee, somehow pulled the phone records of the president's lawyers. Now, we're going to assess with an attorney in just a second, like whether that was even legal. Mm-hmm. But my question to you is, how did he do that, and on what pretext? How did this happen?
So he has subpoena power. So when the Democrats gain control, they have subpoena power. We knew he had issued, he notified us that he had subpoenaed some phone numbers. We didn't know who those numbers were. And of course, because it's in the SCIF and it's classified, we can't talk about it.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Subpoenaed from whom?
He subpoenaed from AT&T, phone records.
Why would AT&T give
phone
those
numbers
up?
That's a good question. That is a very good question.
Why wouldn't AT&T say buzz off, take it to court?
AT&T should have at least went to court to try to see if what they were going to do was the right thing.
Could they do that for my phone records or your phone records? I mean...
It appears like they could. If Adam Schiff now wants to go out and subpoena, they've now set a precedent where Adam Schiff can go and get any phone number that he has, send it to AT&T, and AT&T is going to comply.
Could he get my email, too?
I don't think that's been tried, but I assume, be careful what you wish for, he could try it.
So
then it's even worse.
Is there a limit to his... I mean, you ran the committee, so you're uniquely positioned to answer this question.
I am not...
Is there a limit to his power?
I am not aware of any previous time that we subpoenaed phone records on the House Intelligence Committee. Maybe before my time we did, but I find it very strange. But then if you look at what he did then, it's not just the president's phone records, okay, or the president's lawyer's phone records. He also was able to get a journalist. The journalist now...
John Solomon.
John Solomon, who they hate, who they say is a conspiracy theorist. and he was able to figure out that that was John Solomon's phone number. Okay, so now you have a journalist involved. Then he was able to get my number, right? And because I had talked to Rudy Giuliani, and somehow that's now a crime. And then I make it into his report. And we have to remember, I just want to back everybody up. We spent the last 3 years, at first, if any Republican ever talked to any Russian at any time, even if you're a Russian American, that was a no-no. Then we were criticized. We switched to Ukraine. If you talk to any Ukrainian, that's now a crime. Now I can't even talk to Rudy Giuliani, who I've known for 10 years. That's supposedly a crime. And I'm in his report for supposedly doing something wrong. So this is wrong. And what's happening in this, whatever is happening in this town is wrong. And look, I'm going to look at whatever legal remedies I have, because I actually have some civil rights here too.
Well, and you ought to. If they can do this to you, then, what protection do we have?
They can do it to you.
He already called me a Russian agent, so yeah, we'll be checking. Congressman, thanks so much for that.
Always a pleasure.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
All right, so that's pretty. And Jody, I don't know that you could hear it.
Judiciary Chairman Lindsey
Graham
to subpoena the call records of top Democrats and a whistleblower lawyer, signaling a new GOP line of defense amid the impeachment inquiry examining President Trump's ties.
We were playing it off the deck, and I apologize for that.
President Trump's House allies asked Graham in a letter Wednesday to subpoena AT&T for the call records of House Intelligence Chairman Adam Schiff, former Vice President Joe Biden, and his son Hunter Biden, as well as the attorney for Ukraine whistleblower Mark Zaid. Banks wrote to Graham, quote, Chairman,
you heard
I
at
urge
the
you
beginning
to
that we're
utilize your
just talking
subpoena
about
power as chairman of
how
the Senate
crazy the
Judiciary
whole thing
Committee
is,
and obtain call records
they
for
don't
the
know if
following
anybody's watching.
individuals:
It's just
Congressman
so
Adam
ridiculous.
Schiff, the
But the
whistleblower's
second
lawyer
part
Mark
of that
Zaid,
with the
former
phone
Vice President Joe
records,
Biden, and Hunter Biden.
This is a big deal. And I'm hoping that everybody gets what a big deal
Joe
is.
Biden on
Jody,
Monday
you said
tore
that,
into fellow Democratic
as we were
presidential
coming into the
candidate
show,
Pete
we were
Buttigieg
talking
over
about
his
this,
health care
that,
proposal, saying the South Bend, Indiana
journalists
mayor
are tweeting
stole
about
it.
it. John
Quote,
Solomon,
he
who was
stole
one
it.
of the
The former
phone
vice
records
president
that they
told reporters
pulled,
while on his campaign bus in Iowa, adding that he would have been criticized had he copied
Rand
another
Paul
rival's plan.
tweeting
He said, according to Reuters, quote, "What would you have done to me?
a lot
You
of
have torn
traction
my
on
ears
Twitter
off."
anyway.
A Buttigieg campaign aide noted that the candidate had been proposing Medicare for all who want it since before Biden announced in April that he was running for president.
Unless it's really pushed out there. And you would think all this stuff about them talking about we have to get
Former
around...
Deputy Director of National
we have to get
Intelligence
behind
Susan
the press
Gordon, who
because
resigned
Trump is
in
so
August,
anti-press.
said on Tuesday
Well,
that
then
President
something
Trump
happens to one of the
often
press,
expressed
and
doubt
they're
in
bummed.
response to his intelligence briefings.
Crazy.
Speaking
Oh
to
yeah, they
Gordon,
will not. They
Gordon
will
said
not
Trump
stick up for
often had two
Solomon, even though
responses
he has
during
been a
briefings,
solid
according to
reporter
CNN.
for
Gordon said,
outlets on the
"The one
left
is,
and the
I'm not
right
sure
for
I believe
years.
that,
They want
and
he's
the
on the
other is
wrong
the
side of
second
the story.
order
They
and
will
third
not
order
stick up for
effects.
him.
Why is
But
that
when
true?
I said
Why
what
are we
I
bitter?
used the
Why
term
is this
pulled
what you believe? Why
when
do
I
you
was
do
talking
that?
about the
Those sorts of
records,
things.
they're
Gordon
using the
implied that
term
briefing the president
subpoena.
often left intelligence
I
officials
have
unsure
my
of where else he was
doubts
receiving
about
information
how
that may
this
have
was
contributed to his
done.
doubt.
And I don't think I'm the only one. I think I might have seen someone else say it today on Twitter
The
as
Hill's
well.
opinion contributor John
I have
Fury
my
writes
doubts
in
about
the
how this
op-ed
is done
that, quote,
because
censure is
if
a better option than pursuing
I
impeachment
mean,
for House Democrats.
we've all
Here are
talked
5
and
reasons
heard
why.
about how
One, possibly
Twitter
bipartisan. There
treats
is a chance, however small, that censure could attract some Republican
civil
votes.
subpoenas.
2, censure would be a
Right.
victory.
Right.
Acquittal
But
would
they-
be a defeat.
they
Fury continues,
treat
quote, 3,
law
Speaker
enforcement
Nancy Pelosi would fully
subpoenas from the
control a censure
FBI
resolution. 4,
warrants.
censure would
See,
allow the
this is
Democrats
and this
to
is
move
the
on.
difference.
And 5,
It's a
censure would be
warrant.
better for the country than impeachment.
That is a seizure. It is a completely different thing. Or
Former
sometimes
FBI
it's an
lawyer
order,
Lisa Page
it
blasted
depends.
President
I
Trump in an
believe
interview published Sunday, hammering
that
his
they
often public
used a
references to
warrant
her and former
process
partner, Peter Strzok, a
through
former FBI
a
agent who served
law
on a special
enforcement
counsel
agency
investigation.
to get
Page
these phone
told
records
Molly John
because
Fass in a profile
from what
for the
Devin
Daily
Nunes
Beast
was
that she
saying,
endured public
they
humiliation
went
at the
after
president's
Giuliani
hands
first,
and referred to his
and
impersonation
then they
of
got
Page, including a fake
numbers
orgasm
from
during a
Giuliani's
Minnesota rally
records
earlier this
and
month. Page said, quote,
went after
honestly,
those
his
as
demeaned
well.
fake orgasm was really the straw
So
that broke the
I
camel's
say
back.
pulled the records because it's a completely different process. The FBI turns around and looks at AT&T and says, give us these records. And AT&T shrugs, and it's a law enforcement warrant. So, of course, we have to give them the records.
Has no talent and truly doesn't have
so,
the factor needed for
success in showbiz. I don't believe that in a civil subpoena situation, even your Twitter account, if it gets subpoenaed,
low ratings, fake news.
Before they answer it, they send you a notice.
Ahead of her Saturday morning show.
Right.
Your account's been subpoenaed. You know, we don't have any intention to turn it over or whatever because California law, blah, blah, blah.
Tuesday detailing their weeks of evidence
or whatever the answer is, but they let you
which
know.
They claim President Trump abused the power of his
AT&T
office.
got a subpoena from Congress,
chairs
and it was just straight up subpoena.
The evidence is clear that President Trump used the power of his office to pressure Ukraine into announcing investigations into his political rival, former Vice President Joe Biden,
the name on the account, and sees it as the president's lawyer. You think that they wouldn't notify Rudy Giuliani that they were about to send his records to Congress?
2020 presidential re-election campaign.
Right. I think they should have.
If they
crazy.
Either that or somebody pushed it through that's about to get fired.
To come up. We have to pick a great one.
Well,
and
this
one
is
that's going to be there for
again,
40 years, 45 years. We need intellect.
A prominent.
We need so many things.
Reporter,
so
for
many
CNN, MSNBC.
Into the making of a
you
great
know
justice
very well,
Jim
Acosta, for instance. Let's just say this happened to him. Oh my God!
Maxine, she's a beauty.
Outrage on every news story about how Trump was going after the press.
Oh yes, especially if it was Acosta, because he's Mr. Victim.
To assault.
Yeah,
and
honestly, I just find it astounding. I haven't listened to what Cheryl Atkinson had to say about it yet, but
Can you imagine
they went
seriously
after her
if
too.
I said that or?
Yeah, well, they hacked her. That's a whole other story. I mean, that wasn't even that wasn't even as clean as getting a warrant on somebody.
Her own party
but
was talking about censure.
Stop and think about this for a minute. With everything that we've seen them do, this is just more of exactly what they're denying they've been doing since 2015.
I would have been happier with
They're calling it outrageous conspiracy theories. Nobody spied on the president, but wait a minute, you're still doing it.
If we didn't, sometimes you work under pressure.
You pulled his lawyer's phone records. This is it's a violation. Well, I don't know if you would call it a violation, but it's definitely stomping all over his privilege.
Where all of us play a role in
I mean, there's only certain circumstances where law enforcement will, in a criminal case, even in a case of terrorism,
I don't think he should
will issue a warrant for a lawyer's phone records. It's not done.
Incredibly
privilege.
in America.
So
He's
Cheryl
profited
Atkinson
enormously.
did comment. She
We
said,
need the
I'm
money.
outraged. Had
He has
Trump
a
or ours done
responsibility
that
to
to
give
a
back.
Democratic
And
reporter,
more than that, if
she
he
said
wants to be the
reporters
nominee
at
of
New
the
York
Democratic
Times,
Party,
CNN, MSNBC,
he's got to understand that
it
he's
would
got
draw
to commit
international
to
criticism
ending this
and outrage
inequality,
every
and he's
day
got to
until that
commit
person
to
resigns.
breaking this corporate
And she
stranglehold
went
on our
on to
government.
say,
Otherwise, I don't think he's fit to be the Democratic
they did
nominee. He shouldn't run.
Her.
I think that Mike is
even
expressing
prove
concern
it,
about
but
this
the
primary
Justice
field.
Department
He should not have concern.
will not hold the
I'm gonna
guilty
emerge as the
accountable.
nominee.
So,
I
I
think
mean,
that would be
you are,
something,
like I said
that will make him
earlier,
not wanna run.
you are
We need a
getting
candidate
some
that can reach out to the
reporters, but they
totality of
don't
the
really
party.
have a huge.
They can not only energize
They don't
our
really
base, but also reach
have
out
access
moderates in this
to the
country,
night. Most people on their TVs on your local channel.
Yes, it's another one of these things is not like the other, right?
Right.
Megyn Kelly right now is one of those not like the other. Cheryl Atkinson is not like the other. John Solomon is not like the other. They all have their individual, they've set up their
dishonest
own
and corrupt, lamenting that, quote, there has never been a time like this in American history.
Content
very exciting,
channels.
but also
they
very
have their
sad,
own websites.
Fake news is the
because
absolute
they're
enemy
not
of
going to be
people in our
beholden.
country itself. Trump, who regularly derides coverage of his administration,
I don't want to say they don't play well.
As fake news, has accused
they're
the
not
news media
willing
of blaming
to
him for last week's deadly shootings at a
bend
pair of mosques
over
in New Zealand.
for the corporate machine right? I guess it is the only right.
The House Intelligence Committee released phone records on Tuesday showing extensive
real journalists
between Rudy Giuliani
and they're not willing to do things like what's her name did at ABC, where they let she let them bury her story
as well as
on Epstein. She didn't say anything about it. 3 years later, she's mad about it.
And John Solomon,
but when she's caught on camera talking about being mad about it,
on August 8th,
she
Giuliani
backs out of it and said, well,
as other
I
administration
really wasn't ready to go
sought
to
to
press.
finalize a
What?
meeting in Washington.
That is not what you said on camera. That was not, that was not your hot mic moment.
And I think the freedom of the press.
Businessman Andrew Yang's presidential campaign says it has contacted the FBI after receiving several death threats during its latest swing through New Hampshire. Emails sent to Yang's campaign showed a user going by the name Hitman Yang threatening to shoot members of Yang's camp. Many of the emails referenced the campaign's tweets, threatening that if the number of tweets from the candidate reached an unspecified threshold, that members of the campaign would be shot. One of the emails suggested that more than one individual was involved and that money had been pooled.
Yeah, I think that we're going to hear
over a span of about a week.
I think that when this comes to light, I think it will come to light how they got those phone records, because that was definitely, as you heard in that clip,
impeachment report and sent it to the Judiciary Committee.
Focus
vote to advance the report
with
took
Nunes
place
and with Tucker.
How
did this happen? How were they able to do that? That's going to be the question. And bookmark this.
President Trump.
It
The report was released early
more
Tuesday,
of the same
and it said that
they've
the
been doing
president,
since
quote,
2015.
sought to undermine the integrity of the U.S. presidential
And I don't know,
election
maybe
process
that's
and
enough
endangered U.S.
on
national
impeachment
security.
for now.
The
You wanna talk
Judiciary
about
panel is
Kamala?
charged with weighing the facts of investigators and determining if they rise to the level of misconduct that warrants impeaching the president.
That the left must be really racist, misogynistic pigs.
Well, and that
Starbucks
is
has suspended an Oklahoma
really
barista
interesting
who wrote
strategy,
pig
isn't
on a
it?
police officer's cup.
Yeah,
in a Facebook
yeah.
post, Kiefer Police
Yeah.
Chief Johnny O'Mara says that one of his
interesting.
officers
And then
went
what's
into a
the
Starbucks
hashtag?
on Thanksgiving Day and bought
just
5
like
drinks
the,
for some of the
Oscars
dispatchers who were
so
working
white,
on the
now they're
holiday.
saying,
However, when the officer received his order, the cups had pig where the name of the customer usually
nominees
goes.
so white.
Quote, this is
I can't
absolutely
remember what exactly
unacceptable.
it
and
is.
Yeah, I
it's
don't even
for
know.
law
I don't
enforcement
even know. I
officers who
haven't seen
experienced
it.
this. Joy Mendez, senior communications
But I think
manager
that's
for
pretty
Starbucks,
pitiful, and I
told the
think it's a
Tulsa
really
World, who reported the
stupid
incident.
strategy.
I totally agree. I think it's really, it's crazy.
House Republicans say their counterparts in the Senate need to do more to help President Trump on impeachment. House GOP lawmakers note that their power is limited on impeachment hearings, but Senate Republicans have the authority to call witnesses and issue subpoenas. Republicans in the
I thought you were about to say it's
frustration
Cory
that
Booker,
little attention
sorta
has been paid
black,
to allegations that
sorta.
Ukraine meddled in the 2016 election,
Sorta.
and that former Vice President Joe
yeah.
Biden may have had a serious
drop out?
conflict of
No,
interest
he's still in it.
because of his
He's
son
still in it.
Hunter. Major media outlets, with the exception of Fox News, have given little credibility to these allegations
Well,
pushed by Trump,
but look
his
at that.
personal
But
lawyer
look at
Rudy Giuliani and
the
their
top
allies.
3, and just count out Buttigieg, because he's like whatever's going on with him in the polls in Iowa, where I think it's kind of well, maybe it's just Iowa, and sometimes Iowa's an anomaly. But
Raul Rodriguez
Yeah, he's
fired
never
in
going to
July
be
and
the
had his
nominee.
residency
There are
application
so many
rejected,
clips
according
of
to the
him
newspaper.
making
He was born
major
along the border
gaffes.
in Montemoros, Mexico,
I mean,
an area
right,
that is
we were
commonly
gonna
obtained a
listen.
second
Let's
year
play
certificate for
Al's
midwives to allow them to
short.
attend school in the US,
It
according
is.
to the Times.
It's
Texas officials
5
have cracked down on the
minutes,
practice in
and
recent
we've got
years,
12.
flagging
So
nearly
let's play
250
this. This is
suspicious
a really
birth
good,
certificates in
a really
2019
good
alone.
short. This is his short on Kamala.
National Republican Senatorial Committee Chairman Todd Young is warning his colleagues to brace
Hello,
for
everyone.
spending
This is
delusion
Alan
for
Ray.
fired-up Democrats in
And
what
it's
is
time for
becoming an
another
increasingly
political
competitive
short.
battle for the Senate.
Starting
GOP
now.
senators have out.
The way that the media have treated Senator Harris in this campaign has been something else, grossly unfair. and unfortunate.
You women are held to a different standard, and black women especially.
This becomes an older and wider field for the top-tier candidates.
We're at this moment where we went from the most diverse set of candidates in the history, certainly my lifetime, to an all-white state.
Senator.
And there you go. There you have it. The Democrats, the wealthy old white people party. That's what they are. They've always kind of been that way, too. It really does make me laugh. Kamala Harris is out of the race. She's ditched. And you're going to hear every excuse in the book in the next 48 hours. You're going to hear racism, media bias. You're going to hear sexism, isms, unfair. It's all unfair. Here's what is unfair. It's unfair that you have to have money to run for the president. It's a hard, cold reality. It's a truth. But, it is what it is. Kamala Harris did not have enough money to stay in a presidential race. People, this stuff is not free. That's the only thing there is to blame. She has herself to blame. She didn't procure enough funds to carry on this race. She's losing. Her numbers have dropped. Nobody likes her. She doesn't carry enough weight. She doesn't carry enough authority to carry on this presidential race. So she dropped out. That's all there is to it. That's the end of the story. That's it. There's no isms. There's if there is racism, if there is sexism, if there is some kind of cabal against her, it isn't the people on the right. You can't blame the mainstream media. They're all the lapdogs of the Democrat Party. It's 100%, 150% her problem. That's it. She did not do a good campaign. Very reminiscent of Hillary Clinton in 2016. Wanted to blame everything. She wanted to blame the Amazon rainforest. She wanted to blame people in different nations. The problem was she sucked. That's all there was to it. She was a horrible candidate. She just didn't carry the weight. She looked sick, and yeah, she was sick. She probably still is sick the whole time she was campaigning. She called everybody names. She yelled at her own supporters. Why aren't I 50 points ahead? You remember that, don't you? Snarky, nasty, nobody liked her. And if you start listening, you keep your ears finely tuned to the people behind Hillary Clinton's campaign, you find out she was a nasty woman. Nasty woman. Thought she was entitled to sit in that Oval Office. Well, I'm not even going to say about Kamala Harris because really, she's an also-ran as far as I'm concerned. She's just somebody that's out there. I really didn't give her a shot to begin with. I mean, look at who she represents in California. Who knows how she actually got her position? I doubt it was because of her charm. Every debate I've seen her in, she's just nasty. She's got that same personality that Hillary Clinton had. It doesn't bode well. It doesn't go very far. You have a mumbling, stumbling idiot, Joe Biden, out there who's got more points, higher ahead. And I don't even think he knows how to tie his shoes anymore. In fact, I don't even think he remembers to put them on. I think somebody has to do it for him. You got Elizabeth Warren out there screeching and hollering that she wants to rule everything and everybody. There's going to be laws on every single aspect of society if she has her way. She even wants to eliminate the Electoral College. Good luck when you're president. It has nothing to do with the presidency. It has to be a constitutional convention. Either she's too stupid to realize it or she thinks her voting base is too stupid to realize it. A or B, pick one. There's no C. Get your popcorn popped, folks. This is going to be an interesting 2020 leading up to who they decide is clownish enough to represent the Democrats for the 2020 presidential election. I'm Alan Ray. This has been a Political Short. Hey, join me this coming Friday night at 10 p.m. for a Hardcore Patriot on KLRNRadio.com, where liberty and reason still reign. We'll talk again soon.
seems
all right, that was really great, Al.
In a House vote later this month,
and
make Trump
so
just the
true.
third president in U.S. history to be
Yes,
impeached.
very true.
And it carries far-reaching consequences for a restless nation fiercely divided.
We had to play it short.
Office.
We had to play it short. If you don't
Echo
listen
through the halls
to
of
his
partisan
shorts,
Congress
listen
and
to his
extend
shorts.
far into the 2020 election
Oh,
cycle.
yeah.
And voters will be asked to deliver their own verdict on the impulsive figure in the Oval Office.
There's not a lot we can add to it other than ditto.
Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was hospitalized on Friday night after she experienced chills and a fever during the day.
This is just like, this is the craziest thing to me.
The statement said, quote, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was admitted to
Kamala
Johns
was
Hopkins
black,
Hospital
and that's
in
why
Baltimore,
nobody
Maryland last
liked
night
her.
after
Nobody
experiencing
likes her
chills and
because
fever
she's,
earlier in the day. It continued, quote, with intravenous antibiotics and fluids, her symptoms have abated, and she expects to be released from the hospital as early as Sunday morning.
Joe Biden is getting so much of the black vote. I would think after his corn pop
President Trump's proposed border wall is looming as a central obstacle to passing spending bills.
He's kind of demeaning when it comes to. I just don't understand how he. I don't understand how he is getting such all these numbers, and when it comes to minorities, do you think they're legit? That Kamala didn't get those numbers, he did.
Right. Do I think it's legit?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think any of it's legit, actually.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Because I honestly do not believe that they think Joe Biden is going to beat Trump or he's a great candidate.
I don't think any of them are. Why? This is why they're still talking about other people getting in.
Right. Yeah, Bloomberg just jumped in. He wouldn't have jumped in with all of the research, the money he has behind it, polling, looking at it. He jumped in for a reason.
Yeah. Yep. I think they're a mess. I think they're a dumpster fire. Their whole it does remind me a little bit of the Republican primaries, because that was kind of a dumpster fire, and we all called it a dumpster fire when it was going on.
Right.
But it was because there was one disruptor. Right? Everybody else was bland, and they were the top tier of the Democrat primaries, 3 geriatrics. Right? I mean, they were just bland, and they weren't. Most of them weren't geriatrics. They were a much younger field, but they were other than Trump, Rand Paul was the most disruptive person running. Right? Which is not very disruptive at all.
Right.
I mean, he's pretty low key.
Right. And even at the beginning, when Carly Fiorina was polling, at Iowa, she was doing pretty good. And it was media silence. They wouldn't cover anything she said. They wouldn't follow her. They couldn't have another woman running against Hillary, as a woman. So.
Yes. And so, I mean, this whole, the Democrat primary is crazy in a whole other way. It's pure insanity. And this, Kamala is too female and too dark thing is going to totally backfire on them.
I agree. I totally agree. And I think it's fascinating to me if they think that they're just going to throw her out there as a VP candidate for Biden now.
He said that today.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it in several news things.
He immediately went to talking about, how great she was and how, what her potential was. And I was like, is this the strategy? Because I don't, it's just in the strategy of insanity. I can't wrap my head around it. I can't get what they're doing, but hey, maybe they know what they're doing. They did really well in 2016.
Yep.
Yeah. So we should trust them. We should trust they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, fascinating stuff went on just today. All of that crap was just from today. We didn't even cover everything that else has gone on in the last week. So.
Well, and it's at the point right now that who could? Like, you can cover a day.
Right.
Maybe. Like, we didn't even cover everything that happened today.
Yeah.
There's so much more.
Yeah. So next week, I'm not sure who's going to be on the couch, but maybe it'll be Lou and I again. We'll see. We are hoping. Maybe we should do like a Christmas show, Lou.
We should do a Christmas show, Jody.
That'd be kind of fun. So, well, thank you, Al, for your podcast. Even though you couldn't be here, we know you're listening.
Yeah, we really appreciate that short. That was great. And you should catch Al on Hardcore Patriot and catch his political shorts. They're really good. Yeah, and Cyber Wars is on Monday with Orty and Stoner Brewing Company. Jody's APL Mom on Twitter. And I'm at Cyber Wars Podcast. What else we got to do before we get out of here, Jody?
I think we just say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie. I love those two, by the way. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Might be us again. Who knows? It'll be a surprise. Christmas is coming. Get your shopping done.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
Love you guys. Good night.